for Peace and Nonviolence, in which we contemplate principles of nonviolence. And today our principle is appreciation. And the quote that goes along with that is from Abraham Maslow. And it says, "It is vital that people count their blessings, to appreciate what they possess without having to undergo its actual loss." And so today is another one of our shorter meditations in which today I'm going to read actually a story that is about learning to appreciate things even when they're a little difficult to accept. So after we get into our meditation posture, I am going to read the story to you. And then you can sit with that as long as you want. The video will go off, and then you may stay and contemplate and enjoy the reflections that come up from the story. So let's just take a moment to truly arrive and to get into a comfortable meditation posture. If you're seated on the floor, then it's helpful if your hips are slightly higher than your knees. If you're in a chair, that your feet are planted solidly on the floor, that you feel like you have a solid base beneath you. And it may take a moment to sort of move around and find that place where you can be still and listen and then just be. So take your time to do that. Allow your spine to elongate. Allow your face to relax, your jaw to relax, your eyes to soften, your gaze to soften. And then just allow your upper lids, if it's comfortable for you, to just fold down. And then take a moment to pay attention to your breath as it comes in and goes out. Coming in and out, knowing that the breath is the vehicle of the life force which nourishes and regenerates your entire body. And now I will read the story called The Temple Bells by Anthony DeMello. The temple was built on an island, and it had 1,000 bells. Bells big and small, fashioned by the finest craftsmen in the world. When the wind blew or the storm raged, all the bells would peal out in a symphony that would send the heart of the hearer into rapture. But over the centuries, the island sank into the ocean, and with it, the temple bells. An ancient legend said that the bells still rang out ceaselessly and could be heard by anyone who would listen. Inspired by the legend, a young man traveled thousands of miles, determined to hear those bells. He sat for days on the shore facing the vanished island and listened with all his might. But all he heard was the sound of the sea. He made every effort to block it out, but to no avail. The sound of the sea seemed to flood the world. He kept at his task for weeks. Each time he got disheartened, he would listen to the village pundits as they spoke with unction of the mysterious legend. Then his heart would be inflamed, only to become discouraged when weeks of further efforts yielded no results. Finally, he decided to give up the attempt. Perhaps he was not destined to hear the bells. Perhaps the legend wasn't true. It was his final day, and he went to the shore to say goodbye to the sea and the sky and the wind and the coconut trees. He lay on the sand and for the first time listened to the sound of the sea. Soon he was so lost in the sound that he barely was conscious of himself. So deep was the silence the sound produced. In the depth of the silence, he heard it. The tinkle of a tiny bell, followed by another and another and another, till every one of the 1,000 temple bells was pealing out in harmony, and his heart was wrapped in joyous ecstasy. And so he sat listening to the sea and listening to the bells, and a great sense of appreciation washed through him. And he realized that the entire journey had been a gift, and that he intently looked deeply into the gifts of creation. So now, in this period of listening, what is it within you today that wants to be heard, that you are available to hear? And for the next time, you can just be in a quiet stillness without efforting, allowing your breath to come in and go out in its natural state. And just being available for what comes.